By clicking on this video, you've just given yourself the power to make the biggest change of your life. Maybe. I made this simple platformer, which you can play in your browser, and this is how it looks right now, but it might not last this way for long. You see, anytime somebody comments on this video, the game fully randomizes itself, meaning the version that existed prior will now be unplayable for everyone, forever. Unless you delete your comment, but please don't do that. Please don't do that. Now, how does this work, you might be asking? Well, good question. But first, did you know that computers are actually just like plants? If I tell a computer, hey, give me a number between 0 and 10, each time we run it, we should expect some variety in what it spits back out to us. So this is all well and good. But like plants, computers also have seeds. And a computer seed is actually just a number. So we could set the computer seed to anything, like it doesn't really matter, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this time it just spits out the same number every time, no matter what. Computers and plants also both hate bugs. So that's where you guys come in. You're gonna be my computer's seed, and I'm just gonna fetch how many comments are on this video, and then take that number and use that. So here's the plan. Step 1, I need to figure out a way to actually get the number of comments on a video I haven't uploaded yet. Step 2, make a game that fully randomizes itself at the start. And step 3, cultivate you guys from my computer's seed into my subscribers. Please don't leave, I'll stop saying that. So I guess we can start with step 1, getting the comment total. Every time the game runs, we need to get the comment total first. That way we have the number that we can generate the game from. And I have a feeling this is actually gonna be pretty difficult to figure out. I did it. It took like 5 minutes. It turns out Google actually has like a developer console. You can get an API key, and then if you just copy the ID of a YouTube video, you can use an endpoint, and it tells you how many comments it has. So that's easy. Thanks, Google. Future me just needs to make sure the video you're watching right now gets updated into the actual game, which leads us to step 2, actually making a game. I didn't know what kind of game to make. Everybody likes platformers though, so I figured that was a safe bet. But how can you actually make a level that's fully randomized? Have you ever heard of a grid? That's right. We got a 10 by 18 grid here that fills the camera, and with this grid, we can basically fill in the walls, fill in the player's start position, fill in the goal, and then everything left in the middle is up for grabs in terms of randomly generating, as long as we can guarantee a path through, which I may or may not have done a good job on. We'll see. Which means we now have the foundation for randomly generated levels. Here's a few examples. So great, you have a level you can play, but now let's talk about the fun things we can put on top of it. What fun things, you might say? Well, things like colors, hazards, sounds, particle effects, other visuals like trailing, even some bigger changes like limiting the field of view, and a bunch of other effects I'll let you guys be surprised with in the actual game, if you're lucky enough to randomly roll it, because everything I've talked about so far gets fully changed based on your comment. So there's a pretty good amount of diversity that's gonna happen every time a game gets generated. Definitely more combinations than I'm able to test by myself. So we'll see how that goes. Which leads us on to step 3, cultivating you, my viewer, into a loyal subscriber. Well, this one's a 50-50 partnership. I provide the game and video, you decide if I've earned your trust and take action, which may be premature to ask at this point. So instead, I'll pose this question to you. Are you content to take the safe option and leave the status quo? Or will you forcibly usher us all into a new era and take a different path by leaving a comment?